Hello and welcome to the Portable Peace podcast. I'm Kate Hemingway and I'm here to bring you on a journey of channeled messages, insight, as well as let's just start over. Hello and welcome to the Portable Peace podcast. I'm Kate Hemingway and I'm here to take you on a journey. We are going to do some guided acupressure and some guided meditation that's really meant to be listened to on the go. So no matter what you're doing right now, just let this experience wash over you. We're also going to do some channeled messages, some insight, talking, chatting, just whatever feels right, whatever comes through. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, introduce some breath. Notice your breathing. That's great. Just bringing in that awareness. I like to breathe in through my nose and then take those long exhales out through the mouth. That's perfect. Another thing that really helps me is imagining that I'm sending the breath down through my body, down through the soles of my feet and into the earth. Absolutely beautiful. Great. So I want to share with you all that I had a really interesting day. And this past week has been actually somewhat difficult for me. I don't know if it's because of the full moon that just happened or what, but I found myself feeling really internally chaotic, questioning myself, and a lot of this came from, really it started with a desire for me to be healthier, to live better, and which is great. But in that pursuit, I ended up basically taking in lots of advice from different people to the point where I realized some of it just wasn't right for me. And maybe it's right for other people, and maybe it's right down the road. But basically, I got myself into taking supplements and changing my diet in all of these ways. And I just realized, oh my gosh, I am stressing myself out. And I'm overcomplicating it. And what started to become really clear and really obvious was that what would be most healing for me, most transformative for me, would be to really slow down and honor myself. Listen closely. What does my body need right now? Still breathing. I feel like as I'm telling this story and kind of tuning into whatever future audience is here, I just really feel like those breaths are so important. Take in those deep, slow breaths. This is about bringing presence and awareness to your current activity, whatever you may be doing. So yes, I realized I was overcomplicating, and the reason my mind was getting so chaotic was because I felt a lot of shoulds. Maybe I should be doing this if I really want to be more successful, or I want to be healthier, or I want to be there for my clients at a higher level. Then I need to have A, B, and C, and I need to have this kind of discipline. And I'm not against discipline. I do think It's important. But the way I was going about it was a way in which I wasn't really believing myself, and I wasn't really honoring my being and my body, like moment to moment, very present moment. And so this is a really interesting thing that I see a lot of people get stuck on, is how can we be fully present, like fully alive, moment to moment, honoring that moment, and then at the exact same time have discipline that allows for longer term goals, you could say, or just basically longer term vision that really has the ability to create impact and be the foundation for a really good, really beautiful life that you want to be living, especially if you're somebody who is of service to others, right? So how do we marry these two things of being in a very feminine, you could say, or a very yin flow state, and able to respond very naturally to the present moment, and at the same time have this longer term discipline? So this, I think, is where a lot of people get tripped up, because they end up going to one extreme or the other. They go to no discipline and really just kind of free form, playing on the phone, scrolling, maybe eating emotionally, doing things that are more numbing and more escaping, or they just can't accomplish things that they want to accomplish because everything's too free form, right? And then the other extreme is, of course, so much discipline, all these goals, and we're hard on ourselves, and we gotta go, and we gotta do, and we gotta take these supplements and eat this, and da-da-da-da. And a lot of that too, I feel like people who get into that mode, a lot of it comes from the mind, like it becomes very logic based, which can be good. Obviously it has its place, but it can also be a bit much. It can be, okay, now we're trying to figure out and logic out what is correct for us rather than feeling it. So what I learned from this experience is that honoring yourself needs to be the basis. And we sometimes mistake honoring ourselves for numbing and escaping. And this can be a difficult pattern to come out of. So one thing you can do is just try to bring more awareness. So one thing I did on my phone, I downloaded Minimalist phone, it's called. It's an app, and it basically makes my phone really boring to look at, and every time I open social media, it makes me decide how long I'm going to spend on it. And then it reminds me when that time is up, and I can extend the time or I can leave. And so a lot of that, I'll just do it like 5 minutes or 15 minutes. It won't be longer than that. And I don't stay on longer, usually, unless I'm working, right? If I'm posting, making a post, making a story on Instagram for work, I stay on, of course. But if I'm scrolling, it at least brings my consciousness to the forefront. And so when I get that notification, I say, okay, do I want to stay on longer? And what do I really want right now, right? So it's a chance to check in and actually choose it. And a lot of times, if we really check in with ourselves, it's not actually what we want. It's not actually what we want. But also, it's okay to keep scrolling, but at least now you're aware. You're consciously choosing it. This is a big component to genuinely honoring yourself, is you have to be awake enough to do so. You have to be conscious enough and aware of your actions in order to make a choice that is honoring yourself. So the more awareness you can bring into your day, the better. And my observation with clients that I've worked with and with myself is that one of the first places that goes out the window is the phone. It's like designed to be addictive. Social media apps, we all know that. And people are stressed out, tired, and they're scrolling. I mean, it's not new that this is a problem, but I'm just telling you right now, like, do this. Do it, get it on your phone. Like, do this for yourself if you haven't already, so that you can at least make the choice. Again, it's not about punishing yourself. It's not about saying you can't be on social media. It's saying, hey, remember you said you only wanted to spend 15 minutes, so just checking in, like making the choice again. And it doesn't have to come from a place of shame. It doesn't have to come from a place that feels ugly or bad or restrictive. It's just like, no, okay, I actually do need this right now. This is where I'm at. And that's okay. And that can be with love. And so it's the same for everything else that you want to have more discipline with. How can you slow down enough to bring awareness so that you can ask yourself what you really want and honor yourself? So I have a mentor that I work with. I can put his info, I guess, in the notes here. I'm new to podcasting, but I'm pretty sure there's a little text description. I will let you know who he is. Anyway, I have a mentor, and I was telling him that I was having this problem with discipline, especially since he was encouraging me to remove all shoulds from my life. I don't know that this is like an assignment he would give to everyone anywhere, but that for us in this group with him right now to experiment with, what if you felt like you should do something, you didn't do it? So basically waiting for the natural desire to arise. And so when I tried this, I felt like all my discipline was out the window, and I was eating things that I didn't actually want to be eating. So I talked to him about this, and he said, well, what if you did it only as a celebration? So rather than taking away donuts, you instead, when you're feeling emotional, like you're about to eat emotionally or from a place where it's like, I need this to feel something, right? So if you're craving sweets, if you're craving a cigarette, whatever it is that you want to have more discipline around, when you're craving that thing, are you doing it to fix something? Is there something that feels wrong, bad, off, whatever, lonely? Loneliness, I think, is a common feeling, especially for sweets. That's a Chinese medicine thing, actually, that I could get into, as to how craving sweets is an imbalance in the earth element in Chinese medicine. And so there's some kind of deficiency, there's some kind of lack, there's something that you're wanting to fill. And so instead of immediately reaching for that thing, you instead bring awareness. You slow down. You ask yourself, what do you need right now? Really, really sit with that for a minute. What is your body, like, what are these parts of yourself asking for? Maybe they want love, they want to feel acceptance, they want to feel safe, they want to, whatever parts are crying out for a donut. And so again, this isn't about denying the donut. It's about, what if we didn't immediately try to fix it with the donut and instead honored ourselves? And then the donut, or whatever it is you're wanting, can be a celebration. You can do this with cigarettes too. So you're like, okay, I still want the cigarette. I've slowed down. I've asked myself what I really need. What am I feeling right now? Get some awareness around what you're feeling by slowing down. It might not happen the first time, depending on how often you're reflective. But no matter where you're at in this journey, you can always start building awareness by simply asking. Just really simple, like, what am I feeling right now? What is it asking for? And then when you give it to yourself as a celebration, actually enjoy it. So instead of it being this thing that you need to be okay, it's now like, and now I get to actually like taste this jelly donut and like love the shit out of it. And I just get to really enjoy it. Be as present as possible for that experience, right? So if you're somebody who is like hating on yourself during these things, a lot of people build discipline with self-hatred. I think it's not the right path. Not that I usually call things right or wrong, but it's an unsustainable path, and it's not really a path to higher consciousness. That's what it is. It's not a path to higher consciousness. Point blank. Hating yourself and shaming yourself into discipline can work. Sure, you can lose the weight, you can make more money, you might even be healthier in general. I do not see it as a path to higher levels of consciousness. Eventually, you will have to move past that. And maybe you need to do the hating, shaming, discipline thing for a while before you come out of it. That's okay. But one way or another, that has to be dropped if you hope to be more awake and more whole as a person. And if you're a truth seeker, if you're somebody who wants to see the truth of their divinity, to see themselves as an outgrowth of source energy, then yeah, that's not the path. So, all right, habits, use them as celebration that you're totally present for instead of trying to break them. That's my take on that. So, let me know how that goes for you, if anything in there struck you, because for me, it has helped a lot. And I woke up today and I had a very different day than I've been having. Suddenly, I just felt good. I was like, you know what? I don't want to take the supplements, but I do want to keep the exercises I learned. And I actually do want to eat pretty healthy, but these are the things I want to eat. And I want this like honey date sweetened chocolate, and it's better than a donut. And I realized when I just slowed down and I was so present for the grocery shopping and so just honoring myself throughout the day, I actually had just so much more fun. And the choices that I made were pretty darn good. Who knew? I actually do want good things for myself. And I played in the yard. I looked for little bugs like I did when I was a kid, and I had so much fun. And I read my book and I got some work done, and I'm like, oh my gosh, life can be fun. Literally, life gets to be fun. So let's come back to your breath. Sending that breath down through the base of your feet. Really letting in those breaths. I'm really getting that for this listening crowd, whoever listens to this in the future, bringing in that air, bringing it down through to the earth. We're just going to do one point today. And this is one of my favorite points on the body. I have a few favorites, and this is probably top 3. You can find this point actually in a few different places, but the most common place to find it is on your thumb. Come to your nail and then come to the base of your nail, and then just move your finger to the outside, so the side of your thumb that's not next to the other fingers on the outside, and come to the corner of your nail. So where the nail bed kind of comes to that outside corner. And only touch this point if it feels good for you. You can just very lightly kind of float your finger there. If it feels good, you can press. No need to cause any pain, but if it feels okay for you, you can always put your nail into it a little bit, your nail from your other hand. Traditionally, they say to start on the right for a woman and the left for a man, and well, I guess whatever you want if you're non-binary, but it doesn't really matter. You can press both hands. When I do these points in an actual session, I'm much more ritualistic about it and a lot more specific about how we access the points, and so it tends to have a much more intense effect when I do it that way. So if you've never had a session with me, I'll kind of give you that caveat. This is pretty different. This is a little bit more casual. I'm guiding you to the point while you do other things. You're not in a deep meditative state right now. We're just kind of accessing it and exploring it together. But if you were to ever do a session with me, I'm very specific about how we come to each point, and it becomes sort of, like I said, a bit of a ritual, a bit of a ceremony, which helps build intention and energy around the point. But all that being said, feel free to put your finger there. Put your finger on that outside edge corner of your nail, your thumbnail. That's perfect. Good. And again, just kind of holding that if you can, or maybe just pressing on it for a moment and then going back to whatever you're doing. And I'm going to breathe here for a second as I access this point. So, while we're here with this point, I'm going to tell you about it. This is one of the 13 ghost points, which if you're in my world, you've heard me talk about them before. I use the 13 ghost points in my group program called AWAKEN, so I talk about them a lot. But basically, these points are designed to remove everything that isn't truly you. This point in particular on your thumb is called faith, ghost faith. This is about having faith in yourself. I kind of like the term intuition, ghost intuition, but it's about not having the ghost's intuition and having yours, meaning anything and everything that has become ingrained in your belief system, thoughts that you have about yourself, your own limitations. This point helps dispel all of that. So what I was talking about in the beginning of this episode, of feeling chaotic, feeling like I didn't know what to do, where to turn, just feeling really all over the place. The supplements weren't settling well in my body, but I felt like I should be doing them, and I felt like I should be eating like this, and I was kind of just in total chaos and total turmoil. But it really stemmed from some kind of entanglement within me that really was leading me to the false perception that I couldn't trust myself, or that I couldn't believe myself. And so that's what this point is about. Anything tangled in there, anything, it might be voices from the past, it might, like parents, it could be intergenerational, it could just be societal, right? Because we aren't always encouraged to be fully who we are. And it actually makes sense. Like, as kids, we're kind of reliant on the society we're in. But if we want to change that society, we have to be fully who we are. So when we come into adulthood, we have to undo a lot of that conditioning. A lot of those limiting beliefs, limitations put on what we're capable of. And we're only going to know what we're capable of when we trust ourselves. When we trust our intuition, when we believe ourselves, and when we trust in our ability to handle what life throws our way. So, ghost faith, corner of the thumb. You can keep touching it, kind of put your finger there. This is a releasing point. It gets rid of those tangles, those thoughts, those thought patterns that aren't really you. The doubts. Ooh, that's what it is. It helps untangle the doubt. Doubt that doesn't even belong to you. So really feeling your breath and connecting with that point. Imagine those thoughts like coming out of you, almost like these worms just coming out of your brain, coming out of your nervous system, expelled out through this point on your thumb. You can even imagine a portal opening in your space, a blue portal, and all of these little worms, these little like doubts don't belong to you that are tangled up in your system, they rush out of you, rush out of your thumbs and through that portal. Even if you're washing dishes right now, connecting to this point, may this point release all that isn't true to your light, to your soul. May it restore your faith, your trust in yourself. Oh, that light of your being, that true inner voice, it is right there. It never really went anywhere. We're just clearing the gunk off so that it can shine through brighter. May this point help dispel all illusion, all falsities that you are limited by and living under right now. May they be released. Breathing that out. Breathing it all out into the portal. Very good. Feeling your breath. Set the intention that it's all going through the portal, everything that's ready to be released right now. Maybe make some sound, move a little, let your breath help you. Doing some of that. Moving it all through the portal. I feel like there's some of you that just really need to make some sound. I can like feel it. It's an energy that I can feel. I don't know how many of you listening to this that's true for, but like you need to make some sound right now. Let it be like a vocal sigh at least. And if you can get a little wilder with it, please, please do. Release it through your sound, through your breath. Oh my gosh. I'm getting this really strong impulse that you need to say something. Like out loud. Just what is coming out. Like word vomit. Like what? Something is asking to come out. Say it. Say it loud. Let it go. Yes. You are not this. You are not that. You are not the limitations they've put on you. You are not responsible for other people's stuff. You're only responsible for you. Yeah. What's some stuff that you really just need to voice right now? Somebody listening to this. It may just be one person, but yeah, please let it out. You're not a doormat. Not a doormat. Let it out. Send it all through the portal. Yes, good. Okay. I'm starting to feel a little better. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a doormat. No. I'm not who you say I am. No. I'm not quiet. I'm not a nice girl. I hope this must be resonating with somebody. Let it out. Yes. Put it through the portal. Put it through the portal. All right, now we can seal that portal. Let it disappear. Good. Come back to your breath. Come back to your body. Yes. Oh, good. All of these points have layers on layers on layers. So you can revisit this, right? Especially when you're in that place where you feel really chaotic and you're like, what is my intuition? What do I do? Okay, that is the time to take a breath, slow down. You know, and you don't know the future, and you maybe don't even know what decision you're going to make, but right here, right now, in this moment, you know your breath, your feet on the ground. Yeah, bring it down to the little tiny sliver of the present moment, your heartbeat, your breath, and touch that point. That is the beauty. So much is possible there. You can believe yourself. You can trust yourself. Oh, that illusion and delusions, they got nothing on you. So there's a lot more that goes into breaking habits, especially, and I know we touched on habits today, and there's actually 3 other ghost points that are specifically very good for helping to break habits, and this actually isn't one of them, but it's a precursor, and it's important because I think addiction is one thing, right? So the other points that I just now mentioned, they help a lot with addiction, whereas this one isn't really focused on that, because addiction is kind of like another level, sort of, and yeah, it's another level. It's like a different process, I guess I could say. However, when you're dealing with like low-level addictions or things that are more like habits that you want to break, I do think that honoring yourself is key. And it's not even just habits you want to break, it's also habits you want to instill. I think instead of just forcing yourself to do something, like, I need to work out and it needs to be like this, honoring yourself is a better route for that. So it's not just about breaking habits, it's about basically like marrying discipline and creative yielding flow, marrying present moment with long-term being in alignment. And the way to do that is to honor yourself. And the only way to honor yourself is to believe yourself. Trust yourself. It's totally part of the package. So this is a really important point. But if you're interested in learning more about how some of the points can go even deeper and help with addiction, that might come in another podcast episode theoretically, or you can always just ask me. I love talking to people. You can always reach out and just let me know if that's something that interests you, or if maybe you want to learn more about some of the other ghost points or some of the other work that I've done with people. Just let me know what landed for you in this episode, and what you might be curious about in the future. So keep breathing, keep moving that body, letting those sounds out. And thank you so much for joining me today. I had a lot of fun recording this, so I hope you had fun listening in. And yeah, so much love. Let me just send a little bit more energy healing and love to you all. Just sending all that light, all that love. Unconditional love. You are so loved, and your light is so beautiful, perfect, and needed in this world. And I'm giving you a big energetic hug through time and space. Yeah. So much love to you. Okay, thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.